Nixon. This is a review of your lesson from November 27th. Today, the first thing we talked about was the regular scale. You did a nice job. You chose to start from high A and go down, which is fine. Very good. And then on the way up, I noticed that sometimes you don't want to bring the pinky finger down for C when you're coming back up. So be super careful of that. Let's go ahead and do a scale together. And while you're doing it, be very, very aware of your pinky finger going down to cover this hole on C. And we're going to play nice and slowly so that you can take your time. 1, 2. I would definitely like you to practice along with that. So if you want to pause the video or rewind the video to that, that would be great. The next thing we reviewed was the G grace note scale. You're doing a pretty good job on the upper notes of the G grace note scale. A couple of times on the lower notes, you were accidentally playing a G grace note on the note you're coming from, not just the G grace note to your new note. And so by that, I mean this. If I'm playing B, all right, and I want to do a G grace note to low A, I don't want to accidentally sound a second B. We don't want this. Right? It's B, grace note on B, and then low A. No, we want to go like this. Which means you have to, while you're still in the B position, lift up the G grace note finger and bring down both the G grace note finger and the B finger at the same time. Now, we had discussed that you can sort of think about it where you're actually bringing the new note, the B finger, down a little bit before the G grace note finger, if you want to. Technically, they should come down together like this. So I'm playing B. The listener hears a G grace note. And then the next note you hear is a low A. Same from any other note, like from C to B. I'm playing a C, I hear a G grace note. The next note I hear is B again. So while you're playing this scale, I need you to think of that. You might need to go through it on your own before you play along with me. G grace note scale. We'll start on low G, G grace note to low G and go up. Ready? 1, 2. It might be useful for you to slow down the YouTube video to actually watch up more closely what my fingers are doing if you find certain parts to be difficult. The next thing we reviewed in your lesson was the Gde Triplet Exercise that's at the top of your exercise sheet number 2. And this exercise sheet has Gde triplets on low A, 2 sets, then on B, 2 sets, and then on C. And the trick is making sure that the transitions from the notes are good. For example, when you're done with the Gde triplets on low A, here you are on low A, you've just finished it, and you need to do the B triplet. You need to do a nice clean G grace note up to that first B, and then finish that triplet, then do another one, and then you need to do a nice G grace note up to C, finish that triplet. Those transitions are key. If you can only play the triplets themselves and not move to another note, it's not enough. So I want you to be very mindful of these transitions. I will demonstrate them now. The first transition is going to be from low A to B, and I'll play the first triplet of the B series so you can see it. You're on low A. And then you do the next triplet. Okay, so I'm just talking about transitions. The next one is you're on B. You've just finished the B series, and you need to do a G grace note to C. So take your time on your own. I would like you to pause the video, try those on your own, and then come back and try the exercise with me. Okay, once you've practiced the transitions in the triplet exercise, let's go ahead and play it together. 1, 2. If any of that was difficult, you either need to just pause the video and practice the transitions and the line on your own, or go ahead and slow down the video and see if that works for you. The last thing we worked on was the tune, Jolly Old St. Nicholas, and you're doing very well with it. A lot of good stuff happening here. We talked a lot about some of the areas that were giving you trouble, which was in the second bar, which is where we're playing the D strikes. That phrase. And we talked about how it's 2 packets of D's, if you will. Each packet is, that's a packet, and then there's another, and then it's a G grace note up to F. So it's really important to play that second bar nice and carefully. All right, that phrase again is 1, 2. Again, 1, 2. So once you've got that phrase, you do need to be able to go to the next phrase, which is you're on the F before the F at the end of the phrase we just did, and you need to do a G grace note to B to start the series of B taps. And there's 2 packets of them as well. 1, 2, 1, 2. 2 packets of 2 B's for a total of 4, like this. Let's try that again, the transition from the previous bar starting on F. Again. The next phrase, or the next set of notes after that, is 2 low A's. And then you go to a D. And during the lesson, you were finding out how you had been unintentionally playing too many low A's. It's only 2 of them, or 1 packet, okay? Just, and then go to the D. So that whole phrase of the third bar sounds like this, starting on the F before it. Again, third bar from the F that starts before it. 1, 2. Okay, I want you to practice that a lot. The last thing we talked about was the ending phrase. The ending phrase, I modified ever so slightly for you, removing some grace notes to help you play it a little more fluidly. And so that ending phrase is the last bar. It's E, D, E, F, E, like this. Okay, that should be pretty simple for you now that we have worked on it. Definitely play it by yourself. The other thing that I would call your attention to is at the very end of the bar before the ending phrase, the third one, after you did that transition from low A to D with a grace note. Definitely want to get that clean. So the whole first line of Jolly Old St. Nicholas will sound like this now. 1, 2. Have fun.